Hola, amigos. Welcome back to another episode of the TDT podcast. It's your boy, Skinny So, we have another fun fact. And it is that scientists can apparently turn peanut butter, you know that delicious creamy food that you put on sandwiches? Sometimes it goes pretty well with jelly. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But scientists can turn peanut butter into diamonds. I don't know how and I don't know why, but apparently it's true.
Really?
So, that's your fun fact, folks. I bet you didn't know that.
Actually, here, okay, well, that's cool and all, but this is a better discussion question. Is peanut butter a solid or a liquid?
Ooh, that's like, is water wet? It's a never-ending debate. It can never be solid.
Exactly. Is it a solid or is it a liquid?
It's a gas.
That's incorrect.
I do not know. It's like solid because you can physically touch it, and then you like move around. You don't spread it other places, and it stays. Liquid because it's not a solid though. You know what I mean? Because it like moves. I would say solid more than liquid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So apparently, according to Reddit, the peanut butter is made.
Trustworthy source.
I know. The peanut butter is made from oil, a liquid, and tiny peanut pieces, which is a solid. From the range of available temperature in your kitchen, the state of matter of the peanut butter never changes. The oils one, however, does. Peanut butter is a liquid with solid parts in it.
So depending on the temperature, it's a...
Basically, but I mean, then again, you could also say that for anything, including water, right? If it's super cold, it turns to ice. If it's room temperature, it's...
Well, no, that's like... I mean, I guess you can't say that with any... I guess you actually can say that with anything. Because
right.
stuff can melt.
If it's hot enough, it can melt. Exactly.
Ooh, so, we're on to something.
I know.
Anything can be a solid or a liquid or a gas.
I mean...
All it takes is heat.
It's like peanut butter, toothpaste, ketchup. The three, like, are they liquids or are they solids? Like,
okay. Wait, peanut butter, toothpaste, ketchup? I think ketchup's a liquid, I feel like.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, spurted out ketchup and it's, like, all liquidy and yucky? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a liquid, obviously.
Liquid.
But then...
I don't know about toothpaste, though. I think toothpaste is more of a solid.
Yeah. It's a solid... It's a liquidy solid.
To wrap it up, heat makes things change form. And you know what? The most heat out of all, the TDD podcasts, that's the most heat, which you should go subscribe to, guys, because just do it. The topic of today's episode, well, first let's cover breaking news. Actually, this happened literally a couple hours ago, honestly. Dak Prescott re-signed with the Cowboys for, I believe, $160 million. That's a little bit too much, I'd say, for Dak. I mean, Dak's good. I think he was asking for, like, $40 million, I think. And they gave him a lot more than $40 million.
Yeah, it was a little bit
They gave him like $12 million more than that. Or like, wait, no.
Math. It's okay.
120 more than that. Math is hard, guys. So, thoughts on the Dak Prescott trade?
I think it's way too much. And I also feel like I don't hate on Dak Prescott at all. I think he's a good quarterback, but is he really worth that much for the Cowboys?
In my opinion, no. He's a great quarterback.
In the next 4 years with Dak, I don't know. I mean, they've got CeeDee Lamb. Yes, he's a good receiver. Zeke, though?
Yeah, Zeke not that good.
Yeah.
Zeke's kind of trash.
Yeah, not that good anymore. So the question is Dak worth it? I think that's something that we're going to have to look out for because, you can't really say that now. That is a huge business decision for the Cowboys. But speaking of business decisions, that's actually what this episode and next episode is all about. It's a two-part series. Basically, today what we're doing is we're breaking down every team in the AFC and seeing what they need in terms of free agency, draft picks, what they need this offseason, what they need to work on, how much cap space they got to spend. We know the Patriots got a lot of cap space, so Carter will obviously be talking about
60 million.
But yeah, so this today / Wednesday is going to be the AFC, and then catch us on Friday. We're going to do the NFC. So if your team wasn't mentioned, it will be. Okay.
It will be. Don't worry.
But yeah, it's going to be an absolute banger. So we'll just hop straight into it. First up, we're going in by division. So first, it's the AFC East. Our first team is the Buffalo Bills. Carter, what is the information?
Okay, so the projected cap space for the Bills is $5.1 million. Not a lot of wiggle room, but I mean they can buy some decent stuff. Their main needs are a running back, a linebacker, and a top tier defensive end. The Bills, they maintain their whole reason they have so much success this year is Josh Allen.
100%.
What they need, they have a solid offense around, but they need to get a more reliable running back, like a definite number one, because they have Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. They're okay, but they need a for sure certain running back number one to go out and perform for them when
100%.
Allen can't. And
100%.
then also they need I think their biggest need is a defensive end rusher. Like their defense end was awful, and I think if they get like a big name guy, I don't know exactly who they would get, but on the defensive end, I think that could be huge for them.
Yeah. 100%. I feel like I definitely agree with you on all those terms. It's just, the Buffalo Bills function as an offense. So we really need to see. I mean, obviously you got some really good Bills defensive players, but you've got some holes. You got to fill those. And after that, man, I mean, the Buffalo Bills made it really far in the playoffs as they did with this team from 2020 to 2021. So, 2021 to 2022 season, I really feel like if they fill in those gaps, they can really make it far and possibly Super Bowl contenders. But, we're going to have to see, obviously. All right, moving on. In the East, we've got the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. The Dolphins have a wee bit more cap space and $37.8 million, so actually a lot more cap space. Their main needs are a running back, which I strongly agree with, a wide receiver, and another also an edge rusher. So, okay, I don't really think they need a running back. Actually, now that I look at it, they had Myles Gaskin, who actually was really good. I don't like, they had Myles Gaskin was good. He put up good numbers, but they needed a wide receiver. Devontae Parker is good, but he needs more support. He needs a number 2 guy to
100%.
really shine.
I also feel like, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like Devontae Parker is not functioning well as a primary receiver. I think that as the Dolphins, if I were the Dolphins, I would go after a primary receiver. There have been talks about Juju going to the Dolphins as a primary receiver, which I don't think will happen. But they need a primary receiver so that way Devontae Parker can work that secondary / slot receiver because that's what he does. So yeah, I think if they can pick up a primary receiver and definitely running back, I think their offense can be a lot more dynamic. And don't forget, guys, the Dolphins still went 10-6 this season, rotating through quarterbacks, and they had improved significantly after their horrendous season the year before. So that they are a playoff contender if they can fill these gaps next season.
Yeah.
All right, moving on in the East, we've got the New York Jets. Now.
Okay, the Jets.
Need a lot. So
the Jets, wow, they have I believe the most cap space in $82.9 million in cap.
That is so much.
Their needs are
everything.
A quarterback,
right, guys,
a wide receiver, a tight end, linebacking core, a safety to replace Jamal Adams, and an edge rusher.
So basically every position.
Yeah, some of the most important positions. The Jets kind of sucked this year. They literally can't even tank properly.
Yeah.
Which a little bit embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Sam Darnold, if you surround him with a good offensive line and good receiving weapons, I think they might have a chance. I'm dead serious.
Honestly, I don't 100% agree with you, but I will say if you watch some of Sam Darnold's actual good highlights instead of throwing to ghosts on the field, you can actually see that, he is a somewhat decent quarterback. He has made good throws. He ran over somebody, juked another guy out, scored like a 30-yard rushing touchdown on Monday Night Football. So, it's actually he's not horrible. Now, I will say the team only had 2 wins, so he's not great.
He was injured for some of the season. I know that for a fact.
But I'm just saying, as a whole team, the Jets need to work on just their entire organization, including a new head coach. Thank God Adam Gase is gone. Because, he's awful. I mean, it's unbelievably bad.
But I feel like them going to the Patriots.
But I feel like, good luck. But the Jets, need everything. And I feel like if you get a good offense chemistry going around Sam Darnold, I think they could get somewhere more than 2 wins. Hopefully, I pray.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as much as Darnold gets clowned, again, like Adam Gase, I think really was just an awful head coach. He's shown flashes to be a good assistant coach and like position coach, but I don't think he's fit to be a head coach. Awful offensive game plan. He didn't draft good talent. I mean, aside for a few, respective people, but they definitely need a lot better receiving core. Denzel Mims, I mean, he had flashes to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just flashes though.
Mm-hmm.
I think their biggest need is to replace Sam Darnold, or not. I mean, not Sam Darnold. Whatever his name is, the guy they traded, whatever his name is, whatever that guy, he went to Seattle. Jamal Adams, the Blitz Boy. As many memes as there are about Blitz Boy, like he's actually not that bad.
Yeah,
he's a good edge rusher.
I agree. All right, so moving on, your team, Carter, the New England Patriots. Now, I will say you can't go on a rant for this team for 60 minutes, but we will give you a couple of minutes to go on a rant about what do the New England Patriots need.
Well, the Patriots have I believe, third most cap space and $69.1 million. Nice. And their main needs are a quarterback, a pass catcher, and a cornerback. So, Cam Newton.
Here he goes.
Well, okay. I think Cam Newton stays on the Patriots. I don't think he starts.
Really? Because you were ranting about how he needs to leave earlier.
I don't think they're going to – at this point, I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I think they're going to keep him on to, like, mentor the new quarterback or whatever who they get. I'm thinking I have several options in mind, including Marcus Mariota, Russell Wilson, who doesn't really need mentoring. But, like, Mariota and Cam Newton are actually very similar. Like, they have similar play styles. Mm-hmm. Physical, athletic guys who can throw the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Why don't we go get one of those? Mariota would be great under Cam's mentorship because, like it or not, Cam still is, a capable overall quarterback, I guess, and he has a lot of knowledge. But we definitely need some wide receivers. Pretty bad. Jacoby Myers.
Isn't Julian Edelman coming back this season though?
I don't even know, dude. His knee is kind of messed up. So there's a chance, honestly, Edelman's knee is going to force him into retirement, which is really, really sad. But whatever his name is, the homie Jacoby Myers, he's honestly really good. And I think he could be a top talent with a good quarterback.
He could play quarterback.
He could play quarterback, but yeah, we need more receiving talent and a guy like Allen Robinson, maybe some other dudes. But yeah, we need receivers, corners. I think we're only going to need a corner if we get rid of whatever his name is, Stephon Gilmore. Which honestly I would be down for because Gilmore's getting older, and I mean his season last year was good, just wasn't amazing, and I think he's a valuable trade asset that we could get a lot from, and I think honestly it's worth it to trade Gilmore for maybe a quarterback or a receiver or some draft picks.
All right, so moving on we're moving divisions now to the AFC North. So Baltimore Ravens we'll start out with. What do the Baltimore Ravens need?
So the Baltimore Ravens, they have about $27.3 million in cap space. Their main needs are receiver, edge rusher, and a defensive tackle. So mainly the D-line. The biggest weakness, I guess.
Yeah. I will say Baltimore Ravens pass rush was not as good this season as it was last season. But then again, I do also think it's due to confidence levels. But I will say Baltimore Ravens, they do need to work on their defense. I feel like Lamar Jackson is as much hate as he's been getting lately. I don't know why, but he is still really good, obviously.
He's amazing.
We
put him in S tier.
He's a very good quarterback, so he can lead the offense. That's not a problem. They've got some good receivers. They've got a good running back. I think they're set on offense. They do need defensive picks. I feel like with the draft, with this offseason, maybe they can pick up somebody, Hopefully they do. Hopefully they get that strong defensive leader that they need in order to go into the season. But moving on, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow will be returning this season, which is awesome. Thankfully, we get to see him play. So what do the Bengals need? Like what do they need to actually have a winning season?
O-line.
Yes. You guys have seen clips, but there is a very infamous clip of Joe Burrow in the practice squad getting chased down by the entire defensive line because the offensive line is so bad. But yeah, 100%.
The Bengals have about $42 million in cap space. Their needs are an offensive tackle, a center, and an offensive guard, and a tight end. So basically, blocking positions is what they need. Right. They have actually a really solid offense, except for the O-line. They got receivers like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd who are breaking out, and then they have Joe Mixon as a running back. And I mean Burrow, he's good. I don't know if anyone saw this, but the Bengals jerseys got leaked on eBay. So,
oh gosh,
yeah, the Bengals jersey got leaked on eBay, so that's interesting. I actually really like them, by the way. But yeah, the future of the Bengals definitely should be bright. Burrow honestly had a really good season until he
got absolutely smashed by. Yeah, that was awful.
Chase Young, or whatever.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, dude, if they can just fix their O-line, I'm telling you, watch out for the Bengals offense. Watch out for the Bengals offense.
Moving on, another dynamic offense and making the playoffs and winning a playoff game for the first time in 50-plus years, which is super huge for this organization, even though I hate them as a team. The Cleveland Browns. What do they need?
The Browns, they have $26.5 million in cap space. They need an edge rusher. The ongoing theme with the NFL right now is edge rushers. Then they need a cornerback and a safety. So basically a defense.
Defense, yes.
Yeah. I mean, they have some solid defensive guys like Denzel Ward, but what they need is another Denzel Ward. You know what I mean? Like the Patriots secondary. The reason it's so good and get so many interceptions because you have Gilmore and then J.C. Jackson, who, by the way, was the biggest Pro Bowl snub in NFL history. He had like 10 picks.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't get me started on that. Yeah, Greedy Williams was supposed to be that guy next to – no, hold on. Sorry about that. My dad came in to say goodnight.
Yeah.
Anyways, Greedy Williams was supposed to be Denzel Ward's counterpart on the other side, who's really good. But he just couldn't stay on the field. He got injured all the time. So they definitely need more secondary. There was talk of a trade between the Patriots and the Browns for Gilmore, and then we'd get a guy like maybe OBJ, someone.
It would work out for both teams, but I
mean, OBJ, he's still shown flashes of his 2016 self. He's definitely not his 2016 self.
Unfortunate as it is, but yes. But although I will say, I think Baker needs to keep him as a target. I don't think Jarvis Landry can be enough. And people might disagree with me, but I feel like you got OBJ, Njoku as your tight end. You've got Jarvis Landry, and then you've got that other slot receiver. I think they really need. I think Baker needs to keep his weapons instead of trading them away. I think the Browns defense can work it out on their own in free agency in the drafts, but trading I don't think is the move for Cleveland at the moment. I think they finally found their team. Unless they can blockbuster deal that really benefits them, I don't think it would be smart to go trading away at players when you can clearly get players from free agency or the draft. So that's my honest take on Cleveland. Moving on, my favorite team, Pittsburgh Steelers, worst undefeated team ever in the NFL history, but I'm not going to mention that. Pittsburgh Steelers, I have a couple of stuff to say, but Carter first, what do they need?
So they got pretty decent cap space in $20.4 million. Their needs are, well, I guess they filled this need, but a quarterback. Well, they re-signed Big Ben.
Why?
It's hard to say no to Big Ben.
Why though? He's it's just literally the Steelers organization saw him throw 4 picks in a playoff game and said, we need to re-sign that man. I don't think Ben is it anymore. And a lot of Steelers people will hate me for that because Big Ben was, our quarterback for the ages or whatever. And yes, while he is experienced, I think his experience can go to something else. Yes, keep him on the team, bro, but pick up a different quarterback in the draft or sign somebody else and let Ben teach him the ways of being a Steelers quarterback and fitting in with this offense, because clearly Mason Rudolph is not the move. So, I mean, you really, I know this is not going to happen because the Steelers need a running back very badly. And I know we're going to pick one up in the draft, and we're focusing on a quarterback next year when Ben is actually going to retire, which he will retire because he's not resigning with us. But I know he's good, and the Steelers believe in him. I believe in him. I just don't think if we want to win a Super Bowl, I don't think he's the move anymore. I don't think he's as good as his Super Bowl winning years were. I don't think he's even close. And he's getting older, bigger. I don't think that he's it anymore. And it's no hate against Ben. I really don't think that's it. Now, I know in a lot of mock drafts, we're supposedly picking up Travis Etienne from Clemson, which would be huge running back, man. We'd actually have a secure running game since Le'Veon Bell. We still have an amazing offensive line.
Hey man, James Conner ain't bad.
Our receivers are good, yeah, but James Conner's play style doesn't really fit us. He tries to mimic Le'Veon Bell with his patient running, but it just doesn't really work out. I think we need a dynamic running back. Travis Etienne is the perfect person, or Najee Harris. Both, I've seen so many mock drafts where it has us taking one of the two players, and I really think that either pick would be amazing. And we need those players in order to succeed in our offense. Our defense is fine. Our defense is incredible, okay? So we don't need anything on defense. Our offense needs to have something going again. Re-sign Juju. We'll keep him. Claypool was amazing his rookie year. We'll keep him. Johnson's a good slot receiver. We'll keep him also. I think that the Steelers just need a new running back, 100%. I think that we also need to move on from Ben. It's a new era in Pittsburgh. We need to move on.
Okay. So anyway, it's all good. I don't know if you know this, but Bud Dupree he had an amazing record-setting, or not record-setting, I don't know, maybe record-setting season. He was playing all franchise tag, so they're either going to have to pay him the big, and I mean big bucks, or let him walk.
I know.
So are they going to be able to with the $20 million cap space?
You want my personal opinion as a Steelers fan? I think that we would keep him. The only reason why is because I have seen so many tweets from Bud Dupree and his teammates saying they want him in Pittsburgh. If we need to secure that other edge rusher, because TJ Watt obviously should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but
he definitely should have. Yes,
he's so good. But Bud Dupree and TJ Watt, they literally both. They were number 1 and number 2 when Bud Dupree wasn't injured. They were number 1 and number 2 in sacks on the same team, leading the league. They're so dominant together as a duo. I really think that if we get him along with Minka and all of our defensive players, I really think that we actually will have a super strong defense. And our defense is already one of the best in the league. Number 1 in fantasy throughout the first 13 weeks, right? So I think we want to re-sign him. And I think he needs to be re-signed. So yes.
I think everyone wants to sign him. I mean,
he's good. I would see why. But I want the Steelers to sign him. That's my rant.
Okay.
Let's move on, or else I'm going to go too deep in. Moving on to the AFC South now. Houston Texans, what do they need? Deshaun Watson needs to leave, but
he's not leaving.
Texans. Well, what does that say for Houston?
Well, the Houston Texans have $13.8 million in cap space. They need a defensive tackle because, J.J. Watt's kind of dipped. A corner, and a wide receiver. All of these things they're in desperate need of. The Houston Texans, I'm predicting, are going to be the new Jets and Jags. I'm dead serious. Here's my prediction. The Deshaun Watson
sits out.
They're not going to trade Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson's going to sit for the season. He's not going to play. And then they're just going to be left without a quarterback, basically. And they have basically no offensive weapons. Their defense is not good, especially without J.J. Watt. I mean, it's not the worst in the league, but it is not the best. Nowhere near the best. Mm-hmm. So I mean, in the draft, they're really gonna have to make some big plays, man, because Texans are certified down bad right now, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
They're second to last in rushing yards. They have whatever his name is, that one guy who had one good year, from the Cardinals. I don't
Johnson, yeah, David
Yeah.
Johnson.
Well, there's a Will Fuller most likely isn't going to return to the Texans at least. He might even retire. They traded DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, and they got literally nothing. They got all the memes. It's like they got a bag of potato chips or whatever for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And then they traded J.J. Watt for, like some draft picks or whatever. Okay. Texans are down bad, but they're not going to trade Deshaun Watson, which is really sad with the guy. But
yeah. All right. Indianapolis Colts.
What do they need? The Colts have a lot of cap space too, and $76.8 million. I think actually the most cap space, I believe. They need a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a corner.
Do they need a quarterback though? They just signed Carson Wentz.
I think this list was made before that. Yeah, they got Carson Wentz. I think he's going to start for them. I do. I think Carson Wentz is going to earn a starting job. I think he's going to improve overall from what he was in Philly. I don't think he's gonna ever be back to that 2017 form that he had when he was like an MVP candidate. They need a receiver. T.Y. Hilton is way past his glory days. He's not that good. Micah Pittman needs more years to develop. He's got a good base and he can be really good. He just needs more time and maybe another mentor, which T.Y. Hilton does provide. But T.Y. Hilton he's way out of his prime by now. And then they need a corner. They have, I feel like they have a really good corner in Xavier Rhodes. He is 30, but that's honestly not that old.
It's pretty old for a corner, though. I mean
Gilmore's 31, and he won defensive MVP last year.
True.
So anyways, yeah, they have Xavier Rhodes. They I think in the draft they get a corner. I think that's their biggest need in free agency, or maybe later in the draft they get another receiver. I think the Colts are honestly in a pretty good position right now. They have a ton of cap space, and they honestly don't need that much. True. If they go out and get a superstar receiver, they're going to be set.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The number 1 draft pick in the 2021 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I take it back. I think the Jags have the most cap space and $85.2 million, almost $100 million. Don't say anything. Say nothing. They need a quarterback. Minshew mania is apparently over.
Not it.
I think Minshew mania.
Not it.
Dude, I miss Minshew mania. He's not bad. He's
pretty
but
bad.
He's no Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, they're probably going to get Trevor Lawrence, so that's going to solve the quarterback issue. They need defense next. They have DJ Chark on offense with whatever his name is.
Nice pronunciation.
Thank you. And then James Robinson or Jax Robinson, whatever his name is. He was a breakout stud this year. He was insane. He had a great year. So they're set on offense, honestly, if they just can get a better quarterback. But their defense is their biggest need for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Tennessee Titans. We have a lot of Tennessee fans listening. So what do the Tennessee Titans need? They have, obviously, Ryan Tannehill, who's set. Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league. They've got A.J. Brown, who is a stud receiver. Yeah. Corey Davis. I mean, their offense is pretty set. I would imagine the biggest thing that Tennessee needs is a pass rush, and just everything on defense, because the Tennessee Titans defense is just absolutely god-awful. So what do the Titans need, and how much cap space do they have for it?
So they don't have a lot of cap space with only $10.9 million. They need an edge rusher and a corner.
Yep, defense. What did I say?
And surprisingly, they need a wide receiver, apparently.
No, they do not.
I mean, apparently they do. That's what
No.
the list says. That's what the list says. The list
Lies.
Well, there's a lot of talk. Corey Davis is in the final year of his contract, and he might be looking for something that Tennessee can't pay him. Honestly, he might have to go somewhere else. Patriots. But A.J. Brown obviously breakout. Adam Humphries he can be pretty good when he's not hurt because he appeared in like 4 games this year.
Yeah.
For 219 yards. When he's healthy, he can be a viable number 3. Ryan Tannehill, obviously really good quarterback. Derrick Henry, really good running back. Who, by the way, Ryan Tannehill is like the highest paid person on that team, which is actually surprising for me. Corners. They need corners.
They need everything on defense, guys.
Yes, pretty much.
And Tennessee fans know this.
Yes. I mean, dude, they just need so much. Clowney did not work out.
Nope, not at all.
Harold Landry leads the team with 4.5 sacks. That is like the least in the NFL, basically.
It's pretty pathetic.
They have the 4th fewest in the NFL at 14.
It's pretty bad.
I think their biggest need is definitely the pass rush and their linebacker core. Mainly just the pass rush. Their secondary, their safeties are good. That's not that bad.
Could be way better though.
Malcolm Butler is no longer cornerback number 1. He had 2 years of maybe dominance. That's about it. They need to get a corner. They need to get a corner.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get a corner.
They basically just need everything on defense complete. Yeah.
I mean, their only big defensive stars like Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
Like,
who was hurt? Who was hurt? So, yeah, he will be returning though this year. So that's good to see. Moving on, final division of this episode, the AFC West, Denver Broncos. What do the Denver Broncos need?
Denver Broncos. What do they need? Let's see what the Denver Broncos need. The Denver Broncos have $30.7 million in cap, so they have some wiggle room for sure. They need a center.
Okay.
They need a linebacker, and they need an edge rusher. So again, everyone needs an edge rusher. Whatever his name is, the guy on the Broncos who's pretty good, Von Miller. He had an ankle injury this September.
He also had an altercation with his wife, but we're not going to go into that.
Too political for the podcast.
Too political for the podcast.
Their biggest need is definitely not linebacker. They got 31 sacks without him. But I mean, if Von Miller leaves Denver, then they're probably going to want someone to fill that gap. But I mean, again, it's not their biggest need. Their biggest need is apparently a center, actually, because Drew Lock kind of got hit a lot, and it came from the center spot. They had a lot of missed snaps. They led the league in like bad snaps or all sides of the center or whatever. Drew Lock, I'm surprised I don't need a quarterback. I don't know if Drew Lock is the guy. I like Drew Lock. I like his energy and his vibe, but I don't know if he's the one for Denver.
The one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's about it really. Denver's in a pretty okay position to where they don't need anything too major.
Yeah, and they can just pick that stuff up from the draft.
Yeah, the Denver's definitely a midfield team right now. They're just
Los Angeles Chargers. What do they need?
They don't need a quarterback, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
They have $33.5 million in cap space. They need an offensive tackle, an edge rusher, and a tight end. Again with the edge rusher, dude. What the heck?
Like, do they really need another? They already have Boza, so why do they?
I think he's like their only good defensive player. I'm not even lying.
What's that other guy? The safety. What's
Derwin James.
Yeah. He's good too. I think the Chargers have a pretty solid defense. I think. I don't think their offense really needs a whole lot of more work than offensive line, because you got Keenan Allen, who's still a beast, and you've got Austin Eckler as a running back, and then obviously the stud Justin Herbert at quarterback. So I really don't think their offense needs any work, but I feel like any defensive needs can just be acquired by the draft or free agency. I don't think the Chargers are in too horrible of a position.
I've been saying it basically every episode. Chargers, watch out next 2 years. Chargers going to be dominant. Hunter Henry and Mark Ingram are both at the end of their contracts, and Mark Ingram is 31, and he just had like a knee injury, so he's the most likely to leave. But if Hunter Henry leaves, Patriots. Anyways,
Gosh, everything with the Patriots.
Bro, you literally went like a 10-minute rant with the Steelers. Be quiet.
That is true.
Yeah, whatever his name is. The Chargers only had how many sacks? They only had 22. Okay, actually, never mind. The Chargers had 22 sacks, or Herbert's been sacked 20 times in 10 games. Awful. They definitely need a better O-line. That's probably their biggest need right now. is a better O-line to protect Burrow because you don't want another Gerbo. God, I'm sorry. They need an offensive line to protect Herbert because you don't want another Joe Burrow happening.
Yeah.
I can't talk today, dude. I don't know what the issue is. I'm sorry,
100%.
guys. I apologize.
All right. Moving on. Las Vegas Raiders. What do they need? I'm curious. They started out really strong, but then finished really bad. So how much cap space and what do they need?
Well, let's see. What do the Raiders need? The Raiders have 7.1 cap space, which is the lowest we've seen so far. They need, guess what? What do you think they need, Andrew?
I'm gonna have to say an edge rusher.
Correct. How'd you guess? They need an edge rusher, a corner, and a linebacker. So again, all defense. They need all defense.
I agree with that statement, honestly. I do.
Josh
Jacobs, Derek Carr, Henry Ruggs. I think their offense is definitely pretty set. And the offensive line for the Raiders are literally insane. Like Derek Carr does not get sacked at all. So that's good to see. So
yeah, I mean their weakness is definitely their defense. I would say they should maybe get a star wide receiver, established star wide receiver, but that's nowhere near the top of their list.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, Raiders defense.
Yep.
Name like the big defensive player for the Raiders.
Oh wait, there is none.
Oh yeah, that's right. They traded Khalil Mack. That other guy retired. They have no one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, final team of the episode, Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
What are we thinking? Their offense is so stacked. They don't need anything on offense. On defense, their defense is so good. They don't really need anything on defense. So what do they need?
Well, they need an edge rusher, a linebacker, and apparently a wide receiver. I don't know how they're going to accomplish this, though, seeing as they have negative cap space and minus $15.5 million. So they are negative right now.
Sound bad.
I mean, this is what happens when you pay some guy $500 million to throw a ball.
Yes, unfortunate.
Again, they're set on offense.
I think they're set. I don't think that cap space is an issue, honestly.
I mean, it's really not. They might have to get rid of a guy like whatever, Sammy Watkins. You know, they might have to get rid of some role players for sure. Yeah, Chiefs, they're kind of good right now, I guess.
Kind of, just a tad bit. Yeah.
I mean, they're no match for Tom Brady, clearly.
Okay.
But yeah. They definitely are going to have to get all their needs in the draft.
Yeah.
They can't really afford anything else.
Nope, not really.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's what you get for paying a quarterback $500 million for 10 years. So,
facts.
It is what it is, though.
Man, I can't believe it.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up. That's the entire AFC, what each team needs, how much cap space they have. Hopefully the teams actually get what they need, which apparently is a lot of edge rushers. So hopefully a lot of teams get a whole lot of edge rushers after free agency. Hopefully we do see that Deshaun Watson ends up going somewhere, but
he won't. He's not going anywhere, bro.
We're hoping to see more blockbuster trades and deals. If so, we will obviously keep you guys up to date on all the latest NFL trade news. But otherwise, that's going to be it for this episode. We'll catch you on Friday for the NFC. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Go sub. Go follow our Instagrams. Link in the bio. And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.